Well, Sue Moroney's got 2 amendments. I'll hear from Sue Moroney.
Thank you, Mr Chair. And I did want to take the opportunity to speak to the second of my amendments, which I didn't get around to in my last call. And it is, in fact, the amendment that Chris Hipkins has just addressed and done so very well, because it is the view of the Labour Party that it is financially affordable, in fact a financial necessity for this country to extend paid parental leave to 26 weeks. And as Chris Hipkins has pointed out, my supplementary order paper doesn't attempt to do it all in one hit, but takes a fiscally responsible way of staggering the implementation so that we know that it's affordable. And yes, on this side of the House, I think we do have agreement that 26 weeks is the least that we should be doing. That for the Labour Party, we do see the sense in extending paid parental leave beyond the 26 weeks, but what we know is that the 26 weeks is what is affordable right now. We know that. And we know that because, yes, the Prime Minister has confirmed that in Budget 2016 that there will be an additional $1.5 billion of new spending in that budget. Now, what better provision to spend a tiny proportion of that $1.5 billion of new spending that National has already committed themselves to than getting it right in these early months of a child's life. Now, this is where the Kiwi dream starts, Mr Chair. It starts when these children are born. And if we get it right then, not only is it the correct thing to do, but it's actually the economically smart thing to do. Because investing in families and taking that financial pressure off those families, allowing them to focus on the needs of baby, not have to think about getting back to work before they need to, before they're ready to, I should say, and making sure that they don't suffer financial stress as a result of that, and that they can focus on building up that attachment. That, yes, the Brainwave Trust has done some excellent work on informing us about. You know, when I had my children, I didn't get any availability to paid parental leave. My children are just 18 and 16. That's how recently it is that this country started to understand about the importance of paid parental leave. So it's a relatively new phenomenon for us, but we cannot pretend and we can't unknow what we now know. Because back in the day, we didn't necessarily have the research that told us exactly how important this was. But the government knows, because they too have had the presentations from the Brainwave Trust and other very good organisations who have done research in this area, that the brain development that is occurring in those early months is the most critically important brain development. That is what is going to give that child, our fellow citizen, the resilience that they need for whatever might come at them in life. And that is the way that we make sure that we don't continue to spend bad money, money on, no, it's not bad money, it's money on bad outcomes, I should say, as we are as a country at the moment. So, Mr Chair, I want to fully recommend that the supplementary order paper in my name that extends paid parental leave in 2 tranches to 26 weeks be accepted across the board. I hope that the government will not continue to play political games over paid parental leave and actually does the right thing when it comes to this amendment coming up for voting. Look, it does so in 2 tranches. It does so by increasing paid parental leave next year on the 1st of April to 22 weeks and then finally in 2018 to 26 weeks. It is done deliberately that way because we want to ensure that it is affordable for the country. And I take the lead from a country like Ireland because Ireland already has 6 months paid parental leave. But you know, that country came out of the global financial crisis in much worse shape than New Zealand did. What was the first thing they said they wanted to do? They made a commitment to extending paid parental leave to 12 months over the course of the next decade. So that's the sort of thing that progressive countries do. I like to think that New Zealand is progressive, although at the moment we sit 26th equal in the OECD when it comes to duration of paid parental leave. That's not acceptable in my view. We can do a lot better than that. And you know, for goodness sake, we've only just caught up to Australia. We used to be ahead of Australia in this field. We used to have 14 weeks paid parental leave when they had none. Now we're dragging our heels a couple of years behind them getting to 18 weeks. I am pleased that this bill does get us to 18 weeks on the 1st of April, but we can do an awful lot better, and we should, and we have the opportunity to do that.
Call Sarah